Sports Scene, Hampton Roads' premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM. From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Greg Bicouvaris along with Andrew. Glad you're with us for Sports Scene midweek online and Saturday on the radio on WPMH, AM 1010 and 100.1 FM, and tunein.com by typing WPMH in the search bar. Tell your friends about Sports Scene. Twitter @GregBic, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on GJBTV.com. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Phone line presented by Jimmy the Greek's Restaurant, now with 2 locations in Yorktown and Virginia Beach, hiring cooks as well. For more, log on to GJBTV.com. UVA and Virginia Tech having good football seasons, as well as NBA college basketball going on, as well as the NFL. Great interviews, excellent guests, business segments, highlights, commentary. What tees me off? Thank you for listening to Sports Scene. We love our regulars and tourists who listen online and on the radio.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene, heard every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on 100.1 FM, 1010 AM. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us with our very esteemed special guest from Channel 3, Adam Winkler. We've had him on several times before. Adam, good to see you.
Greg, thanks as always for the time. I don't need to know if you need to lie to your audience and say that I'm esteemed, but I'll take the compliment.
Absolutely. Well, you do have one kid and one on the way.
Thank you very much. Our son is, he's a year and a half now. And I don't know what we're thinking, but we're obviously not thinking clearly because we've got a baby girl coming in February. So 2 kids, 21 months apart. Not sure when the next time I'll be on your show, Greg.
Yeah, by phone for sure. And we had him over the phone and in the studio, too. And, of course, I was like several months apart from my sister, so I totally understand that, about 12 to 15 months, 16 months in that range. But anyway, let's get right to it. Of course, what have you been focused on here in the fall? A lot going on. Let's go with the topics here. Congratulations to the Nationals. Kind of got hidden, but they won the World Series.
What an incredible run that was. I mean, we go from, we're following this team in May, and we are monitoring whether or not they're going to pull the plug on Davey Martinez. 19-31, the second worst record in the entire league. And how about this? The results come out a couple weeks ago. He's not even in the top 3 for Manager of the Year. And I realize that the polling is done before the playoffs started. But still, what he did to even get them into the postseason in a comfortable fashion to get into the postseason, how he doesn't finish in the top 3 of the Manager of the Year is a bit of a joke. But, I mean, just that team, they did it right. They did it when they needed to. It shows you, man, that it's not just about clutch pitching in the postseason, because clearly they had that too. You need a little magic, and you need some 2-out magic, and it doesn't, baseball doesn't discriminate. It could be the young studs like Juan Soto doing his thing at 22, but then a guy like Howie Kendrick hitting the massive home run in Game 7 in Houston, and man, what an interesting assignment that was for me, being a Houston guy, having the chance to cover my first World Series professionally, doing it covering the Nationals, and I've built a relationship with Ryan Zimmerman and his family. Could not have been more excited and more happy for him and the success that he had, but also being in Houston to cover Game 6 and 7 and seeing friends there and seeing family there and seeing how disappointed that fan base was. It was the best, toughest assignment I've ever had, and one that I'll continue to, I think, grow in terms of appreciation over the years. But you make a good point. NFL is still king. I mean, DC, this region, it's still a football area, and the Redskins, they're not good, but they're interesting. And never to get political, but I almost wonder how the Nationals going to the White House and the response to that changed the way those stories were covered, how much those stories were covered, and then giving Redskins the headlines. And the Redskins didn't have the bye week until after the Nationals won the World Series. So I think it just goes to show you that, I wonder if the Yankees had made the World Series, but Daniel Jones comes in and starts winning a bunch of games for the Giants, what would that coverage discrepancy have been like? I mean, obviously we're not there, but NFL's the big dog and always will be, but the Nationals had a heck of a story.
How many games in total did you go to the World Series?
I was there we did not go to Game 3 because that was a Friday night, high school football, but we were up for Game 4 and Game 5 at Nationals Park, and then they flew me to Houston for Game 6 and 7.
That's special.
It was awesome.
That is special. Now, we're talking to Adam Winkler from Channel 3. Wink, go ahead and give us your Twitter handle.
Twitter handle is @AdamWinkSports. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/AdamWinklerTV, and of course, always WTKR.com.
Very nice, very nice. And you talk about the Redskins and the Nationals. I worked 2 games for them on Fox. Really weren't that relevant during the summer. It was like, okay, another Nationals loss, another Nationals win. Martinez was getting criticized right and left. But even when they were winning the World Series, the Redskins played an intriguing game against their former quarterback, the Vikings. And I got to be honest with you, even though the Redskins weren't great, the NFL still gets better ratings, and you're playing a team that has your former quarterback. So people were talking about that more than those first 2 games of the World Series.
I think it tells you all you need to know about where the NFL stands and where Fox views the NFL, that they flew Joe Buck across the country to go call Redskins Vikings and then go back and pick up Game 5 of the World Series. And Game 3 of the World Series, you're right, going back home to DC. And you can look at the numbers. As sports crazy as our market is, and it is, live sports, live anything really. The royal wedding here was a top 5 market nationally. Anything live these people crave. Baseball just pales in comparison to the NFL. Even college football pales in comparison to the NFL. A couple weeks ago, LSU-Bama did really well, but that also did really well nationally. I mean, it's the most watched game in years. 16-point-something million people watched it. But it just doesn't – you can't ever justify around here putting anything ahead of the NFL because the ratings are just monster. Even up against – the regional baseball team with 2 guys, Daniel Hudson and Ryan Zimmerman, playing key roles, it still did not.
And Verlander pitched at Old Dominion,
right? And Sean Doolittle's a UVA guy too. I mean, there were it would have been a huge story without any local angles, doing what the Nationals did. But with Zimmerman, with Hudson, with Verlander, it became a true local story for Hampton Roads.
And let me say this about the political. I'll say it. You don't have to say it. When Trump showed his presence there, he likes to go to a lot of UFC fights, I've been told as well. You don't boo a president whether you like him or not, especially he lives in that same city. That turned off a lot of Republicans. And like you said, they did show up at the White House. Most of the team did. There were a few. Doolittle was one that did not show up, and a few others. So politics did get involved, but what do you expect? The Nationals are in D.C., first World Series in our lifetime, and of course, Trump, the president, did attend the event during a very polarizing year for him.
A Washington team can't pass on the White House. You can't do it. I'm trying to even liken it to anything else. I mean, it would be, similar to, say, a Houston team. ignoring something that Shell Oil or Exxon or somebody like that would host a rally. I mean, oil and gas in Houston that's those people's, that's their living. Politics, that's why people are in Washington, D.C. And Capitals, Redskins, Nats, sure, you can just bring a handful of guys to the White House. The Nats had way more than that, but you can't just ignore the invite. This isn't the Golden State Warriors in D.C. This is D.C.'s backyard. You can see the monuments from the press box at Nationals Park. They had to go. But I think you're exactly right. I think in that 10-day span, the booing of President Trump, the volume of the guys that showed up there, some of the things that were said in the microphone there, I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I can say this to you on your show because I have nothing to run away from. Shame on you if you're a Nationals fan and your view of the team and those players changed from booing of the president, supporting the president, whatever it was. It's a hell of a story regardless of anything separate from politics. So if that's going to change your opinion on a guy like Ryan Zimmerman, who spent 15 years in the league and finally won a title, then maybe you weren't a great fan in the first place.
Right, and the Lerner family is obviously tight with Trump to even be there in the first place. Talking to Adam Winkler from Channel 3, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. At Greg Bick on Twitter, congratulations to the recipients of the 2020 class of the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame.
And good on you and Matt and Ian, and I know there's some other guys that I'm leaving out for, spotlighting us media folk. And I know I've talked to you about that before. It's, we don't get in this business to be the headlines, but I love the qualifications that you guys have. You have to have a whole lot of skins on the wall. You have to have, you have to cut your teeth here, and you're rewarding longevity, and you're also recognizing, hard work and accomplishment. So thank you for what you're doing and recognizing some of our very well-deserving colleagues year after year.
And we'll have more and more included, as well as some people from Channel 3 down the road. But let me just say this, too, folks, about that. People ask me about the posthumous award. We're only going to put one per year. Now, several can be eligible, but this is a world that we live in, that we like to see people, and we cannot get away with any Hall of Fame doing it posthumously for 5 winners. So the board decided one. Several are eligible, but only one can be elected per year.
Because you want people to show up to the ceremony,
right?
Yeah, yeah. As good as you are, if you don't have a pulse, you're not going to do much of the awards.
It's nice that the family member of people are here, but it's not the same as the person. Right. So with one, we keep it apolitical.
That's fair.
Yeah, very good. Talking to Adam Winkler. Adam, I tell you, talk about TV. As you know, I do a lot of television as well. It kind of confusing to the viewers, and this is all the uneven balance. CBS had the Thursday night games for a while. NFL Network started, of course, simulcasting with CBS, and of course now with Fox. NBC's, I believe, even touched into Thursday night football in the past. But it's confusing still to the viewers. I was growing up, the NFC was on CBS, but now it's a helter-skelter because of the Thursday night makes it uneven.
And because Fox has that Thursday package, and because that package has gotten so much better over the years. I mean, these last 2 years, it's been phenomenal. I mean, you look at a couple weeks ago, Steelers-Browns on Thursday night. That's a marquee AFC divisional game. So you will see more NFC matchups on CBS these days. They call it the cross-flex to kind of just level the playing field because Fox is getting some of those marquee AFC games. Back in the day, not too long ago, it used to be 95% of the time the conference of the road team dictated what station the game was on, which is why, when the Jets or the Browns or the Patriots would be at FedEx Field, the Redskins would be on CBS. Those rules have kind of been thrown out the window. A couple weeks ago on Channel 3, we aired Detroit-Chicago, a battle of the NFC North that would have never been on CBS, but because you've got, a top 3 market nationally in Chicago, that's an NFC market, they kind of throw a bone to the CBS station. So we certainly like it. As the CBS affiliate in this market, we certainly love to air Steelers games, massive amount of Steelers fans everywhere, especially here. But it's nice to put, teams like the Saints and the Panthers and the Bears, and we've got the Eagles on our air. Those are good for the bottom line, too.
Now, can you decide personally with the general manager about the Ravens? Because over the years, they haven't always been on local Channel 3.
It is the decision is certainly above my pay grade, but we have a vote with the national office at CBS. So basically, if they assign us a game, say they give us Buffalo, Cleveland, and the Ravens are an option that week, we can petition to the national affiliate office and say, hey, we are X amount of miles from Baltimore. When the Ravens play on our air, these are the numbers. When the Bills play on our air, these are the numbers. And basically pitch it to them. They have the ultimate decision. They have the ultimate say. I wish we had the final call on a lot of these games. More specifically, I wish we had the final call in the second half of these games to pull the plug on a 20-point game and flip over essentially what folks do with the red zone, flip over to the better game. But alas, we don't have that power, despite what angry emailers and social media posters say.
All right, we're going to pick up with that. We're going to take a small break, come back here with Adam Winkler from Channel 3. But before we go, I have not asked you this on the air, and shame on me for not asking you. People have asked me, are you related to the Fonz?
Man, I wish I was related. I am not related to Henry Winkler. The Winkler connection that I get, there's an Adam Winkler who's a professor at UCLA. He is big time into the gun control debate. So you can imagine some of the angry emails and Facebook messages that I get on both sides of that political aisle.
Wow.
And I have to remind folks, I do sports. I am as Switzerland as you can get. But no, not related to the Fonz. Quick story, my first station, Monroe, Louisiana. I worked there from 2004 to 2007. My sports director, he would introduce me as the Fonz. And so every now and then we drop a hey, something like that. But no, can't claim Henry or Erwin Winkler.
Can you imagine, though, we talked about the Ravens. The Ravens radio play-by-play guy's name is Jerry Sandusky.
Yes.
And we've interviewed him. I've gotten to know him over the years. Real gentleman. Has nothing to do with the pervert that's in jail right now. Spells it differently. But they knew each other as far as their families knew each other. So I'm sure that alone was creepy.
And especially as active as you are on social media, a quick Twitter search, it doesn't give you the opportunity to vet that. And people are just, some of the stuff that they fire off, I don't get as much on Twitter. I wonder if Adam Winkler, the professor, isn't on Twitter. It's more Facebook, and then people like search my website, get that. But yeah, that Jerry Sandusky situation. He's such a good radio guy too.
Right, but for a long time, he took a beating, and probably professionally too. It probably affected his income a little.
Because that name, it's still sour.
It's still bad.
Years, yeah.
You can still Google it. Google's never going anywhere. Sports Scene will continue after these messages.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today.
I love those J-I-N-G.
And welcome back to Sports Scene, part 2 of our interview with Adam Winkler from Channel 3. Adam, you're also involved with WGNT.
That's right. We do news for 2.5 hours from 4 to 6:30 on Channel 3 every night. But we air a 7 o'clock newscast on WGNT Channel 27. Also, WGNT Channel 27, our 10 p.m. newscast. So a whole lot of news if you're looking for it between WTKR and WGNT. And coming up next few weeks, WGNT going to air a couple Old Dominion University basketball games, which is a nice change of pace for this local area, local broadcasts. Look forward to being a small part of those.
And those of you that are asking, too, the Daily Press and the Times, Daily Press that used to be with the Times Herald, but of course the Pilot and the Ledger Star now are all one company. And people are asking about the TV log. So if you have stuff about TV you want to see on, email the editors there, because it's kind of confusing sometimes when you have one combo paper, meaning that both writers are working, or all writers are working for both papers. It's kind of confusing to the fan.
Absolutely. And this day and age, people are just looking to get their news, to consume at their leisure. When they want. If you're looking to get a hold of our entire newsroom, taking action at WTKR.com is the email address. And then you can find us basically anywhere on WTKR.com.
And we live in a world now, some people respond more faster to a text or an email than a phone call. And I'm sure
phone call. Yeah, I'm not even sure I've checked my voicemail on my desk, because if people are trying to get a hold of me, it's through email or social media.
But that can be. You still need the phone for a deadline, though, for like a coach of, like, let's say you want to go interview Wilder or a high school coach.
Absolutely.
You can't rely on a text or an email sometimes.
Yeah. And also, cell phone numbers are still like gold, because people ain't leaving home without the cell phones.
No, you got to text. You got to check your email. Talking to Adam Winkler here. All right, Adam, brand new stadium in Old Dominion, all the hoopla. It started off great. I told one other TV reporter recently, could you imagine if they would have lost to Norfolk State? We'd be talking a totally different dynamic. That one win has been the only self-facing thing at all this year.
That's the only that comeback victory. They just scored with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game to beat Norfolk State. And it's not even like this is a juggernaut Norfolk State team this year. And you've got that, and you've got that shiny new stadium, and that's it. That's what you're hanging your hat on. I know head coach Bobby Wilder, he's trying to sell us on the future, trying to sell us on Hayden Wolf, the true freshman quarterback. A couple years ago, he was trying to sell us on Stevie Williams, the true freshman quarterback. And
yeah, what happened to him?
Yeah, he's a receiver now. And that shiny new stadium may be half full for that Texas-San Antonio game. And we could get into that. Greg, we could talk for 30 minutes about why the heck Old Dominion is playing teams like Texas-San Antonio and Texas-El Paso and North Texas.
And you're from there.
Exactly. I am from Texas. Nobody in Texas cares about those schools. Why would anybody in coastal Virginia give a flip about North Texas or Rice or Texas-El Paso or Texas-San Antonio? Get out of that league. It does nothing for you. But again, that's another episode for another day. The stadium's half full, half empty, however you want to say it. They're not putting up points. They're not winning games. What do you want if you're an Old Dominion fan? Are you happy just playing UVA close? Are you happy playing Virginia Tech close? Are you happy once every 5 years having a marquee program come to your stadium? Like next year, UVA comes to Norfolk, but your non-conference game schedule consists of at Wake Forest, at Virginia Tech, and you host UVA. How are you going to get the 6 wins? Playing these teams, how are you going to get the 6 wins? And that's the conundrum for ODU. Do you play schools like Hampton and Norfolk State and VMI and programs where you can maybe get some non-conference wins to get you closer to 6 to go to a bowl game? Or do you want to appease the fan base and play these marquee teams, but then you got to get your business taken care of in conference play? Or you're looking at 5-7, 4-8, 3-9, 2-10. That ain't cutting it.
Not to mention, too, yes, the novelty. You and I have been around big stadiums that are a lot more, have a lot more lavish stuff than this even. So we're used to it. NFL stadiums, Major League Baseball stadiums, we've seen it all, been there, done that. It's great for the fan here, but even the fans here might have gone to a UVA or Tech game. They're used to a nice bathroom, for God's sake. They're used to having an extra hamburger. Great. They're used to a nice seat. Okay, that's all good. High school stadiums had better seats than Foreman Field did before, but here's now what they're facing. Holidays, final few home games, big waste of time to see a one-win team for a 4-hour, 6-hour commitment on a Saturday where I could be spending time with the kids, holiday shopping, going out to dinner. It's almost, or watching a good SEC game later when nobody at halftime is even there.
And I mean, you look at the upcoming game, the Oyster Bowl. It used to be a huge deal around here. It's going to be Charlotte against Old Dominion on a 40-degree day, the day after what could potentially be the most consequential Commonwealth Cup in decades that could decide the ACC.
On a Friday night.
Yeah, on a Friday night, on Black Friday night. And of all the things going on that weekend, the traditional NFL triple header on Turkey Day, again, that massive Commonwealth Cup Friday, the last Friday night of the high school football playoffs, regional final weekend, and then Saturday, a sleepy Old Dominion game against Charlotte. It's just, the buzz is not there, Greg, and I don't know what they need to do to get it back. I don't know if firing Bobby is the answer, because there has to be an answer to that answer. who do you hire? Who takes that job? I think the number one problem they have right now is they don't have enough talent, and the talent they have is not being developed. And do you hire somebody who used to be a high school coach here, who might have the connections? A guy kind of like the route that William and Mary went with Mike London. I don't know what the right answer is, because I just don't know how high profile this job is. Yeah, you've got a good facility. That's your game day facility. Their practice facilities are just okay, middle of the road. I don't think you're going to be able to break the bank to pay a new coach. So do you get an up-and-comer to take this job? I don't know. Do you get an old-timer to take this job? Or do you tell Bobby, this is your last chance. You cleaned house on defense last year. You're going to clean house on offense this offseason. And then if you don't win, it's you. The problem's you.
Yeah, you can only say next year, but so many times. And, he's all charmed us on radio and TV by calling us by our first name. Just listen to how many times he'll say, Adam, Adam, you're right, Adam.
He's great on camera.
Right.
Great with the microphone.
But he's still got one win. And here's the thing. The sad part is all this amenities has totally evaporated. Nobody's talking about the stadium anymore. They're only talking about who's there in the third and fourth quarter and who is their next opponent on a losing team.
And that's the bottom line is the bottom line. You've got this beautiful new stadium. Yeah, it's going to be packed out for, the UVAs of the world, the North Carolinas of the world, but you're going to make budget or go over budget with these late season Conference USA games. And if you're not in the race and you're not putting a good product on the field, nobody's coming to the games. Sure, your season tickets are sold. That's why the announced crowd for that Texas-San Antonio game was 16,000. It was closer to 10,000 butts in the seats. But if those season ticket holders aren't at the game, they're not spending $9 on a crab cake sandwich. They're not spending, the money in the Priority Automotive Club. That's where programs are set apart. That's why programs like Clemson and Alabama and Auburn and Texas can afford playing cupcakes, because the product on the field is good enough. People are still going to come and show up, and it's going to be a social event. ODU is not there. UVA has worked so hard to get there. Virginia Tech's always had a very good fan base, a very loyal fan base. But UVA, not until really this year were people going to watch the Wahoos play against the non-marquee opponents. And that's what ODU is saddled with. You beat Virginia Tech, you shocked the world, but then you went 4-8 that year. And you come back, you open your stadium, an exciting comeback win against Norfolk State that shouldn't have been that close, and nothing else. Right. You're not capitalizing on your opportunity, and I just don't know the direction that they need to go. And Bobby is selling us on the future, and as you say, using our first names, and he is so good with the microphone. He's talking about 80% of these guys are coming back next year. He's comparing it to the 2015 season that they used as a trampoline forward into 2016 when they won 10 games. He's sure selling us on the future, but he's got to sell Wood Selig that he is the future.
Yeah, Wood told me several years ago on radio and TV, both for Sports Highlights and Sports Scene, it'll take us a few years to grind us. We're not ready for ACC opponents. Well, they've been playing them for several years, and be careful what you ask for. Regardless, it's been a very disappointing year for Old Dominion, switching gears to basketball. I think, and they play a lot of the same schools, in at the TED. The difference is it's indoors, it's cozy, it's a nice environment. Hard to believe they opened up way back in 2003 there. It's not exactly brand new anymore, but it's indoors. It's during a weekday or a weekend. You can sit back in a nice chair, get to the restroom pretty easy, not fight the crowd there. That's a difference as opposed to being cold and watching a losing team for 4 hours in football.
And the last 5 years, nobody in Conference USA has been better than the ODU men's basketball team. It's a winning product. And you know that if you're going, yeah, you might be seeing them play, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, Rice, North Texas, but they're going to win those games more than likely. And that's the difference. And you pointed out, too, it's a 2-hour commitment as opposed to a 4-hour commitment. It's climate controlled. It's the game times well in advance. You're not waiting for a couple weeks out to find these things out. And nothing more important than it's a winning product. They have the most consistent, successful program in Conference USA over the last 5 years, and they led the conference in attendance last year. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, Jeff has a good thing going, and maybe that's a blueprint that football can follow. Jeff is doing it with some guys here locally, some key transfers, but a lot of continuity on his staff too, and that's been the thing that's changed the last couple years with Bobby's football staff.
And he's really had a grind, too. I mean, Jeff Jones has had a lot of health issues, former American coach, former UVA coach. He has persevered, maybe not the most PR person like Bobby is, but Bobby's even kind of kept a low profile now that he's losing a little bit more compared to when you first got here as well. But regardless, Old Dominion finds a way to win. They made the NCAA tournament. The women's another story. But two questions I want to leave you with. The millennials, do they have time to go to these games? I don't see them even talking about sports as much as we did when we were growing up. A football game, you have to get there maybe a couple hours early. We in the media, we have to leave here from Hampton Roads to go to a Redskins game. I've got to leave at 5 in the morning. I don't see a lot of people excited about doing that. And what are your thoughts on the length of some of these games, especially these night TV games? We talked about it earlier. 1 o'clock, 4:25 is the best in the NFL.
Without a doubt. And maybe it's because I'm an old man or maybe just because I'm a dad, but anything that starts after 7 or 7:30, I'm probably not making it to the end. It's one thing if I'm at work, one of those 5 nights a week and I've got an 11 o'clock show, yeah, I'll be up for a couple hours. But if I'm off and I've been spending the day with my family and running around and chasing a toddler and getting up early for breakfast, I mean, even those World Series games, Greg, I mean, that was 8:07 starts. Those were brutal. Those were 4-hour games that were starting at 8. I'm with you. I think the 1 o'clock, 3:30, 4:25 windows for Saturday and Sunday football are ideal. I think you've got a lot of eyeballs. I think you can plan your day before and after around it. But you look at college football, there's the enticing part about the tailgate, and I've noticed that with some of these ODU games. People will go out there for the tailgate, and then they'll go do something else. They're not going into the game because they're going to go find something else to do because you got an hour and a half, 2-hour commitment for tailgating, and then you got 4 hours more to watch a game of a team that's probably not going to win. Basketball, sure, there's no pregame tailgating, but you've only got a 2-hour commitment, and it's a 7 o'clock start. You're home by 9:15 or 9:30. It's totally different than a 6 p.m. football start. Game doesn't end till 9:50. Maybe you're not getting home until closer to 11.
And it interrupts your dinner, too. And not to mention, too, you can't keep fans hostage at a game anymore. They're not buying it. Like you said, they'll leave before the game. They're definitely leaving at halftime. Even when they were winning, they were leaving at halftime. The weather could have something to do with it because their time is so valuable to them. You can't just say, oh, we got you. Go buy the extra crab cake. No, they're just going to leave.
Yeah, and that's why I don't know why it took so long for college football stadiums to decide to sell booze. I mean, people were leaving at halftime to go back to the tailgate to drink because they couldn't do it in your stadium. So you have the opportunity to sell them booze, make money off of them, and keep their attention that way. But you've seen the changes they've made at places like FedEx Field. That's certainly not a crown jewel by any means, but you have to compete with the living room. You have to compete with people's big screen TV, their comfortable couch or chair, and their smartphone. And how are you going to do it? It starts with a winning product on the field, but you need eye candy to keep them entertained during the breaks, too.
Especially November, December, and January in places like Chicago or Washington or Baltimore when it's very cold, Philadelphia, New York. One thing college football needs to change, and they need to change quick, is do what the NFL does for their model time, 3-hour time zone. Very quick halftime, don't stop the clock on first downs. Keep it in that 3-hour window. College football games last longer than NFL football games. Keep the college experience, keep the tailgating, keep whatever, but you know what? You're going to have to make the change eventually.
Yeah, with all the offense that has come to the game, they're not going to shorten themselves. So rules have to be in place because those 3:30 Saturday games, I mean, they're running sometimes past 7:30, and then when you start messing with like primetime TV and stuff like that, or like the ABC Saturday night kicks, they don't kick off till 8 o'clock. I mean, it's almost midnight when those games are over. That's terrible.
And I think it's nuts that college basketball, even CBS or ESPN or Fox, will do a 2-hour window. You need 2 hours and 15 minutes because of timeouts or overtime to have it and say, oh, we got to get to our next game, and we'll put it on ESPN 3 or something, or whatever they call it now, watch ESPN or the app. It's going to go over 2 hours. Basketball, even 2 hours. Finally, how do you decide what to cover? Obviously, during the summer, it's different. You only pretty much have the Tides. You don't have any high schools. But right now, you're all over the place. You're just done with baseball. How do you know what Admirals game to cover, and how relevant are the Admirals anymore?
The Admirals really are not relevant, and I think they're trying to make moves to go back in the right direction. But I mean, that's something I heard when I first got here. You know, a Friday night Admirals home game at Scope was the toughest ticket in town. It was must see, and I mean, I challenge you, go look at some of the pictures that people post on social media from Admirals games. There's maybe 100 people there, and it's there's a litany of reasons why, and a big reason is they're not AHL anymore. They're ECHL. There's not that NHL connection that they have anymore. It's not a great product. Scope isn't a great place to watch a game. They've got a lot of work to do. We don't go and cover Admirals games. We'll do Admirals stories. There's some great stories over there with what they do with charity, with breast cancer, with Wounded Warriors. Those are the stories we'll tell about the Admirals. We're not going and doing highlights. First of all, they're not very good. But we're not doing highlights. We're not running scores. We'll put the score on the ticker. That's it, because you're not relevant. Our brand at Channel 3 is Channel 3 Sports. We cover the stories that you care about, or we give you a reason to care about the stories we cover. Obviously, football season, NFL is massive. Very few markets in the country are as NFL hungry as we are here. We can get away with just about anything NFL on our air. You got to keep it relevant, though. You got to keep it compelling. College football is a huge deal. We do high school football on Friday night. We don't do a lot of high school football throughout the rest of the week because that's not what our audience craves. It's such a transient market. We're not going to run a bunch of high school stuff Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday night's high school football. We blow it out. We've got the number one high school football show in the market. But then when it comes to storytelling, if, say the Christopher Newport women's volleyball team hosting an NCAA regional, we're not going to go and cover those games. But if there's a compelling story on that team, we'll go and we'll tell that story. Right. And it's a good story to tell. And that's how we get the niche sports some coverage, the lower tier sports, if you will. Not because they're not good sports. They're just not a huge fan base. We did a story a couple weeks ago on Ocean Lakes high school boys volleyball. Never won a state title. Been to the state tournament 6 times. Their captain just got a perfect score in his ACT, speaks 3 languages. We went, we featured him. Oh, hey, by the way, this team is also doing really well. Here's their state tournament schedule. That's how we kind of check as many boxes as we can, because we've only got 2.5 minutes every night at 11. We try and please as many people as we can, so we go back to our brand with stories you care about, teams you care about, or stories that we give you a reason to care about. Not
to mention, too, all the TV stations are superseded by weather. When weather takes over, sports can get knocked out sometimes. Finally, what a year. Let's make this quick here. Final question. The Caps, not too long ago, won the Stanley Cup. Of course, UVA basketball, they're a totally different team. That doesn't mean they're even going to sniff what they did last year. They won the national championship. You got the Nationals, World Series, the Mystics, not really relevant in this area, but they won the WNBA. This area has won a lot, but not the Redskins.
Yeah, and this has been, I mean, just personally speaking, this year, I mean, I was at the Super Bowl. I covered the Final Four, and I covered the World Series. I mean, the only thing I was missing was the Masters, or I could have pulled a Jim Nantz.
Right.
Done Super Bowl Final Four Masters. It's been an awesome year, and local angles, obviously, the Super Bowl. It was on our air, but we had local angles there. Ivan Fears, Patriots running back coach from Suffolk. William and Mary grad, done great things with the running backs in New England. Obviously, UVA, Final Four National Championship, first one ever. Nationals winning the World Series. It's been an awesome year. Some really cool angles to cover, but yeah, it would be nice if the Redskins found a way to get relevant again.
All right, well, let's do this in a couple months. Adam Winkler, all the best to you and your family from Channel 3, your TV family, and your most important family, the family at home. All the best. Thank you for being on Sports Scene.
Thanks, as always, for the time, Greg.
All right, Sports Scene will continue after this.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Highlights, gjbtv.com, hrsmhof.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. A great place to browse, shop, and visit for the holiday season is HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived shows of Sports Scene and other audio and video. Question of the day presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to our esteemed producer, Andrew. When you go to a local store on a frequent basis, do you expect a hi, how are you, Andrew? Or is a greeting important to you anyway?
Well, a friendly greeting goes a whole long way. If they can't remember my name exactly or just don't say it, I'm not probably going to hold that against them. But yeah, I definitely want friendly, a recognition that I come in regularly, especially now where you can do so much online. I feel like the customer service and appreciation really needs to be a top priority for in-store business.
Yeah, because you're taking your time to walk in that store. You're giving up your valuable time to walk in that store. If they can't make eye contact with you, duck you, that does leave an effect.
Oh, for sure.
All right, that is Highlights.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. Want to welcome our good friend Kathy Dermanis from St. Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News, from the Daughters of Penelope, talking about the pre-holiday bazaar. How are you, Kathy?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Very good. Big event coming up November 23rd. Tell us about it.
Well, we are having a holiday bazaar. We're calling it a pre-holiday because it is before all the holidays. We have 45 vendors with beautiful arts and crafts. And, of course, we will be selling our delicious Greek cuisine. We'll have pasticcio, gyros, spanakopita, tiropita, Greek salads, and, of course, our famous pastries, baklava and finika and kourabieres.
Nice. And you're even going to have some Grecian fries and hot dogs for the kids, too, right?
We are.
Very nice. Well, this does a lot of benefits for the entire community. It's really something to look forward to for the holidays, and people can buy some nice gifts. They don't have to necessarily go to a big box store. They can buy a lot of items there. What type of things can they buy?
Well, this is all handmade crafts. These vendors have beautiful handmade crafts, anywhere from wreaths to embroideries, different door decorations for the holidays, Christmas ornaments. We've had beautiful crafts in the past they make good stocking stuffers as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Something for everyone. Daughters of Penelope pre-holiday bazaar. Greg Bicouvaris talking to Kathy Dermanis, November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., correct?
That is correct, Greg.
So they have a 5-hour window to get it done, right?
Yes. We thought that by having it in that window, people can also enjoy the rest of the day and do other things as well.
Mm-hmm. But that is the main event going on at the church that weekend, right off of Traverse Road, 60 Traverse Road, exit 258B off Interstate 64. It's pretty much convenient to everybody on both sides of the water, Kathy.
Yes, it is. And if you've been to our Greek festival in the spring and in the fall, you know pretty much where it is. We're the church with the big gold dome. You can see it on the interstate.
Absolutely. Talk about this event. They've had it for a long time, but it's also hasn't been every single year.
That is correct. There was a few years when we couldn't have it, and we brought it back because, to be honest, we give out scholarships, not only to children in the community, but we also give out a scholarship to Christopher Newport as well. So this holiday bazaar is for children and scholarships, and that's the main reason we brought it back.
Should be a great event, of course. Look forward to it. November 23rd, 10 to 3, the pre-holiday bazaar presented by the Daughters of Penelope. Kathy, all the best to you and the great organization.
Thank you so much, Greg, for having us, and we hope to see you there that day. Come have lunch with us.
You will, and have a wonderful day. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kathy. Bye-bye.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Go by and see Paul and the friendly staff. Great lunch, dinner, 7 days a week, appetizers, salads, boneless traditional wings, great specials as well. Download their app. Their phone number is 249-3999, located at 12150 Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. Go by and see Paul, like we said, get some great food, enjoy some great times with friends as well. Buffalo Wild Wings right next to Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Wings, beer, sports. It's a pleasure to talk to Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate in Virginia Beach. Brenda, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today, Greg?
Very good, very good. We're going into November and December, always a festive time of the year. We're not quite ready for the holidays, but boy, it sure is around the corner.
It's right around the corner. And, you know, it's so strange to me as I work in retail, our rhythm of the holidays is so different. We have all of our Christmas items arriving every day, and Thanksgiving, you almost live a holiday or two ahead of yourself because of the ordering and receiving of products. But we have so many new items in the store, I wouldn't know where to start. Then we're right into Thanksgiving and our famous 3-pound turkeys. They are beautiful. What a centerpiece. What a cool thing to have out when all your family arrives or to bring to somebody's home. Just a great idea, and they're wonderful.
Yes, talking to Brenda Tusing, and Brenda, really, like you said it before in the show that you have to look holidays ahead. I mean, as soon as Christmas will be over, we'll be thinking about Easter, but you see that in the big box stores, the Bed Bath and Beyonds. I mean, those type stores as well. They've got their Christmas stuff out.
Yeah, we're not quite nice. It's nice to be smaller and local.
Yeah.
We can pace ourselves a little better. I think people resent seeing Christmas in September. So we can pace ourselves, and, you know, we have some Christmas items out, but, you know, our tree isn't up and all of that kind of stuff's not happening yet. That won't happen until later in November. We're focused more for in-store shopping right now on Thanksgiving. We have beautiful Thanksgiving baskets, and nice for us, and I think nice for our clients and customers, is that we now are able to ship products. It's gotten cool enough. We have to turn shipping off during the summer, of course. So now we're starting to ship products again. We can always deliver locally. So when people are thinking Thanksgiving gifts, Christmas gifts, whatever it is, we're just like one-stop shopping. We're the easy button.
Absolutely, and that easy button is right there in Virginia Beach. Phone number is 557-6925. Like the Royal Chocolate on Facebook. Of course, they're also on Pinterest, Twitter, and all the other great social media as well. And really, social media is a great way of promoting, as we mentioned, every day, not just the holidays, but 7 days a week. But you mentioned the holidays. There is holiday fatigue, and you're exactly right. If you start putting Christmas stuff out this early, people get turned off.
They do. They do, and I understand it because, again, before I was retail, I'd walk into a big box store, as you're saying, and it would maybe be September, and, you know, they'd have they're decorated for Christmas, and I'm like, no, stop already. Don't rush me. I'm just not there yet. And the same thing happens for Valentine's Day and every other season, but I understand now why they do it. But at the same time, we're smaller, local. We don't have to rush through the seasons like that. We can pace ourselves a little better. And in between all of that, we're still doing, for example, this Saturday, we've got our make a chocolate bar. And kids come in and they sit down. It's only $10. And they make this a big chocolate bar and decorate the box. It's a great little thing that they can contribute to the Thanksgiving festivities if they'd like. So that's going on. There's a lot of things happening in Town Center. People really should tune in to the Town Center page and see what's happening there. So there'll be a lot of holiday events. It's a fun time. It's a festive time. And while we have to think like retailers, we like to slow down as people too and enjoy the season with our staff and our guests that come into the store.
Yeah, that's to me. You pause for the holiday season, but of course, let's get through November 1st. You know, the weather's been very warm for the fall.
It has. It's I think it's about to change, but we've had a warm fall, and I feel like every day we have that's not freezing, it gets us that much closer to getting through winter. But then, of course, we have the time changing I guess this weekend, so that's going to make things seem very different.
Yeah.
But we're up until 9 at night, and, you know, I am always surprised at how many people come to Town Center. Maybe they have dinner somewhere, do a little shopping, and then they stop by our store, you know, in the evening and have some hot chocolate, or they'll come in and share fondue or get some, you know, pieces of chocolate. We have a beautiful seating area. They can sit down there by our fireplace and just enjoy a little chocolate and relax.
They got great restaurants there, great shopping. They got great comedy clubs, theater, everything.
Theaters.
Yes, I mean, there's great holiday performances. I was always raised at least try to attend one holiday performance, and I feel better as a person, you know, when I do it, just because you want to be in that holiday spirit. I always like to watch the Christmas Carol. Last year I saw the Virginia Symphony right there at the local theater there by your store. But you feel better when you can attend a holiday performance.
Well, you know, I really hate that the holidays just become hustle, bustle, and stress. And so anytime, just like you're saying, if you can take in a show, if you can, you know, meet a friend for dinner, whatever it is, just slow down, just for just a short time, maybe an evening, whatever you can spare, but makes the holidays seem to be what they should be, which is a time for sharing and caring and, you know, to lift your spirits instead of dragging you down, I suppose. So, but we try to have fun in the store. We have, as you well know, we have a fabulous staff, just ready to help and always on the upbeat side and ready to go.
Yeah, but a fabulous staff is from fabulous trainers like yourself. And
well, thank you. I would like to think that.
Yes, you have to train the staff. And really, I mean, I'm glad we brought that up, Brenda, because etiquette and being polite, we live in a very rude world.
Oh, it is. And when people come in and shop with us, I think they really enjoy engaging with our staff. We see the same faces a lot of times. They know our staff by name. If they don't see somebody for a while, or they'll ask about them. So, yeah, it's a different world in small and local business. You know, the last Saturday of November is our Customer Appreciation Day and the day that celebrates local business. And I think that's the beauty of small and local is that you have time to train great staff. We don't have people in there that are just going to ring up your chocolate and send you on your way. You know, they're going to really work with you, take the time to chat with you, introduce you to new things. As I said, we have so many things in there right now, and we have samples of everything available. So they're willing to sample with you and, you know, help you shop a little bit more personally than just, you know, going in and seeing rows and rows and counters,
right,
racks of things. So, yeah, I think the personal experience is so valuable.
It is, because you guys can decorate. It's not that big of a store where you can't get around. You've got restrooms there. You got seating tables there, you know. So, I mean, get away from the hustle and bustle, take a break, and go to the Royal Chocolate. But you've got gift baskets and beverages, too.
We do. We have beautiful gift baskets. You can see some of them online. It's just not possible for us to put our whole store online, but we do have a number of items, some of our gift boxes, certainly our gourmet apples. So you can shop online with us as well, but it's always more fun, if it's possible, to come into the store and see what we do. Watch us make chocolate, watch us dip strawberries, make the apples, whatever it is we're doing that day. It's you know, try some samples. We have samples out on the counter all the time. So people love to come in and try something different.
All right, you're at the Virginia Beach Town Center. Leave us with a good thought.
We are at 164 Central Park Avenue in the Virginia Beach Town Center. We're currently right across the street from Williams-Sonoma and the Pottery Barn. And 757-557-6925. Or you can find us online at theroyalchocolate.com. Check out our Facebook page. There's always fun things to do on the Facebook page. We just had a great, a pumpkin decorating contest with some good prizes and things like that. So, you'll find out what we're doing on Facebook. So check us out.
And informing the community, too. And really, there's something for everyone. And, Brenda, aren't you amazed how much the town center has just grown so much?
Greg, I wish, my one regret is not having taken pictures as we went along.
Yeah.
Because when we moved in, the Williams-Sonoma that I just talked about and the Pottery Barn and all the apartments and getting ready to open a new restaurant there and the Zyder Theater, that block was construction trucks and trailers and a big ugly orange fence, and it was just nothing for years. And so, yes, we've come a long way, baby.
Yes, you have. Brenda, all the best to you and Terry and the staff, and we will talk to you very soon.
Okay, thank you, Greg. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you. Brenda Tusing right there from the Royal Chocolate.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And I want to thank our good friends at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the staff this holiday season. Spacious, nice dining area, bar, lunch and dinner daily. Burgers, steaks, soups, salads, all your favorites. Pasta, chicken ribs, appetizers, desserts. Of course, 1255 Fordham Drive. They deliver in Virginia Beach. An excellent Outback Steakhouse. Phone number is 523-4832. Great food at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Okay, what teased me off, one of our favorite segments, Andrew. People walking in parking lots with no care in the world and not even looking where the cars are as well, just walking straight to where they need to go.
Oh, it's so frustrating because, you're always worried anyway about backing into somebody, and then you have people that just are asking for it or asking to be run over. Oh, it drives me nuts.
Speaking of which, everybody trying to back up and back out at the same time.
That's a really hard one because sometimes it can be, hard to tell. But yeah, when you're already like starting to back out and then someone just decides, nope, I'm ready to go now, I'm going to go ahead and go, it just bothers me to no end.
Andrew can relate to this one because we both kind of live in the same area. There's a certain stop sign in Hydenwood right by the C&U field there that you really don't know when to merge, when the other person needs to go or the other person needs to go in Moore's Lane. I'm just going to use Moore's Lane as an example. It's very difficult when there's a three-way stop sign and everybody's saying, no, you go, no, you go. And you can't even talk.
Oh, yeah, my dad hated four-way stop signs, and he moved into a neighborhood where there was like a million of them. I guess the idea is to just make traffic kind of stop so that you have less speeding, I suppose, because it doesn't really make sense to me to have all directions coming to a stop at once. So I guess the idea is that you just prevent speeding and reckless driving. I'm not sure. It's annoying. That's all I know.
This time of the year, Andrew, we all get them. Cuts on our hands, weather or non-weather related.
Oh, man, I got one right now. I just got it this morning, and you are absolutely right. It's all I can think about this afternoon is this little pain on my thumb that just won't go away.
This all happens to us. We don't mind exercising. That's different. But, Andrew, excessive walking to get to a big box store because you have nowhere nearby to park.
Yeah, excessive walking anywhere for something like that is hard. I was in downtown Nashville this weekend on business and did a lot of walking, and just for everything had to walk. And, man, I was just over it, and I'm right there with you. That's just no fun for anyone.
This has happened to everybody in the audience listening. We all get it from family once in a while, but friends. But this is really bad, especially in November and December. Andrew, people who ask you to go to the store to pick something up is okay once in a while. But when it becomes a habit, that's not fun.
For family gatherings especially, you got to work out some kind of system so one person isn't getting stuck running to the grocery store for everything. You got to share the load.
We don't like crowded parking lots no matter what season it is.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Final thing of what teased me off, it happens this time of the year where somebody is always picking up the tab, the same person. That can become awkward when it's acquaintances involved.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that also feels awkward every time that conversation comes up. I never feel quite comfortable with someone paying for my meal, that sort of thing. So I don't know. We've gotten into the habit of just inviting people over and making them dinner a lot partly because you don't have to do that whole, sort of song and dance with the check and everything. Yeah, it's just a part of the holidays, a part of just being in relationships with people.
Absolutely. Want to thank our good friends at CP Shuckers, Locals Tradition, great place for holiday gatherings. Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue, delicious food, great appetizers like the steak bites. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon at both locations. Like them on Facebook. Want to thank our guests today, Adam Winkler, Brenda Tusing, and Kathy Dermanis. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link for archive shows. For Andrew, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Thanks for listening to Sports Scene, and we'll talk to you soon.